My next film, Girl Who Gets Jilted, Prem Ratan with abusing Karan Johar, Sonam, Nobody is a Personal Karma, or Yash Raj, and Irfan Khan's Karma, Rajkumar Rao's Motichur Ke Laddu. Look at Anarkali of Ara, of Student of the Year, Sushant Singh Rajput, really, really talented.
Hi Swara, welcome to Box Office India. How are you feeling?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm very well.
So, Rasbhari, let's just jump to that straight away. It has been getting so much good response. How do you feel about that?
I think that it's really exciting and interesting because Rasbhari is getting a very Rasbhara response. So there's lots of chatter about it. I think everyone's talking about Rasbhari. Like if you're on social media, you can't not have seen something about Rasbhari. I think it's generated a lot of interesting conversations. Of course, I'm getting a lot of good responses from people who watched the show and who actually so many people have binged watched the show. So that's really good because with series, the completion rate is always important, right? That how many people are actually finishing the whole series. And so that's happening a lot with Rasbhari from what I can gauge from the kind of messages I'm getting. And I think that people who are watching it, who finish watching it, are really enjoying it. Then, of course, there's my dedicated trolls who are doing everything in their power to sort of, lower the ratings and give it bad ratings and troll it and so on. But I think what's ending up happening is that there is so much conversation around it because of that also. And it's just adding to the whole buzz of the show, which is a great thing for any OTT content, especially in times like these when actually the means for promoting it are quite limited.
True, any publicity is good publicity, as they say, and it has to be there. If you're there, so I think talks have to be about the things. So that's just like has to be there. So the role that you're playing is very interesting and very complicated. I mean, it's challenging at the same time because you're playing this dual personality. So were you a little comprehensive while saying yes to the script?
I mean, I wanted to read the full script because when Tanveer, who's creator, offered me the show, I said it's an interesting concept, Tanveer, but and I said, what's the title? And he said Rasbhari, and I was like, what? That sounds like a morning blue film, And he was like, no, it's really interesting. So I said, all right, send me the script. And then when I read the whole script in dialogue, I realized that it's actually really it's a very interesting show, and it's actually doing a lot more than just a random sex comedy. Firstly, there's no sex in the show. That's the most interesting and important thing I think in this whole thing is that the show actually has no sex, and there's no nudity either. So like what you see in the trailer is actually there's a lot of suggestion, and so I think that's also really interesting because the show is actually it's actually teasing the audience's mind also. And then when I read it, of course, I really liked the plot. I like the fact that it was talking about adolescent sexuality, which is something that we don't discuss in India in terms of Indian content. We haven't seen anything. It's something that looks at the kind of discomfort we as a society face and have with female sexuality, and I think it's also I really like the fact that it was there's a lot of warmth in the show. It's not a condescending look at a small town. It's actually a very warm look at a small town, right? You feel like you're one of those people, and I like that a lot. And then of course, I mean, last but totally actually the first thing, the characters were so challenging and interesting for an actor. So I'm like, why would I not do this? I know Tanveer, and I also knew the director Nikhil Bhatt, and I've seen his previous film, which is I think it's available on Netflix, called Brij Mohan Amar Rahe, and I really liked how he sort of handled it. So I thought that this is obviously he's obviously a talented director as well. So I mean, it just seemed like why not,
Yeah, that's so good. That's very well put. I am 3 episodes through the show, and I have quite enjoyed it. I mean, this is something that I wouldn't watch generally, but then because of the hype and because it was you and I was seeing your stories and all the conversations, I was like, I have to see it, and I'm actually enjoying it. I want to know what will happen next. How will your character take change and take turn? So coming to this
exactly.
dual yeah, exactly. So coming to this dual personality that you have, so switching between the two, like during a shoot, like during one scene you're shooting and you have to switch between the two, was that difficult for you, or was it like easy, like it can happen easily for you?
Well, the thing is that when I was prepping, I made sure that I had sort of worked, that I'd worked on very distinctive characteristics for both Rasbhari and Shanu. So I kind of had a very clear sense of, in terms of just in my own prep, of how Shanu would be, what her language would be, what her accent would be, what her body language would be. And I had worked out the same thing for Rasbhari as well. Of course, what helped was that every time, I mean, there was a costume change, right? So getting into Rasbhari and getting into all that costume of Rasbhari itself got you halfway into the character, you know. And,
true.
It was very funny because we used to where we were shooting and where the vanity was parked, it was like outside the colony, so I had to walk into the colony. So I used to wear all these Rasbhari ke kapde and shimmer and shine and like fully and all backless and midriff showing and all, and then I'd wrap a shawl around myself or like a chadar around myself and I'd be walking like that, you know. So
wow, but that was like the first scene when you know, enter as Rasbhari. I was like, wow, that's such a drastic change, and that's so impressive. That was so good. I was like, wow, that made it interesting. You know, you would want to see it. So also, this discussion of self-censorship also comes when OTT platforms are, you know, in consideration. A lot of people do not want that. A lot of people have they support it. As an actor, what do you think should be there? Like self-censorship on OTT platforms, is it necessary? And how does that affect you as an actor?
See, honestly, I'm not someone, I think that self-censorship anywhere happens. It's, you know, it's not the idea that people think that, oh, if there's no censorship, then there'll just be porn will fill the screen. That's actually not true. It's not true that as makers, we are only telling stories about nudity and sex and porn, and that's practically not possible. I mean, everyone is interested in other stories as well, right? I think that without the pressure of the censor board, I think that actually Indians are already very conscious of all these things. We are already not prone to showing too much. You know what I mean? So self-censorship तो वैसे भी होता है. I mean, हमने रसभरी में me and Nikhil, while shooting, there were more than twice where I told Nikhil that let's not do this because this might seem vulgar, or he said to me that let's not go there, it's going to seem very vulgar. And so that's already happening. If you ask me about censorship as an issue, I personally don't support it because I feel that we already have very problematic censorship in our films. I'm okay with certification. I think that we should have certification and we should implement the certification quite strongly. But what I don't agree with is censorship, and I certainly don't think that the digital space should be censored, because the whole point of the internet was that it was an open source. The whole point of the internet was that it was open and free, and entertainment was available to everyone, information was available to everyone. And I think the reason in the last 4 or 5 years, or 3 or 4 years, that we have seen interesting content coming out on the digital platform is precisely because it's a free space, so that makers have the freedom to tell new stories, to write new characters. I mean, I don't think Sacred Games would have been possible with censorship. I don't think Patal Lok would be possible with censorship. I don't think Made in Heaven would have been possible with censorship, and a host of other, I'm saying, nice, good, thought-provoking shows. I think that, personally, I don't think that we need censorship. I mean, I think that, and everyone who says, I mean, I would just tell the parents, apne bachon ko sambhalo. Make sure that they don't, they are not watching, content that they shouldn't be watching. As simple as that.
Wow, totally love how you explain your opinions. I totally love it. I totally love your Twitter. I totally love that.
Oh my
Sorry
God.
for that. Sorry for saying it again and again. But there are very few actors who are actually, expressing their thoughts and unapologetically being themselves. So it's very good to talk to such people.
Please, I'm always in trouble because of it. Like, I get into so much trouble because of that.
I know, but that's good. It's okay. You're doing what you like, so it might as well get in some trouble for that. So also,
yes,
because you've been playing these roles and we are talking about getting in trouble, a lot of people do not, support the kind of vision you have or support the kind of roles that you're doing. be it your role in Biredi Wedding, that particular scene, or other movies as well. So how do you deal with that? I mean, I know it's been long since this is happening, but still now, does it bother you, and how are you dealing with it?
Well, the thing is that I always feel that it's a democracy. All right, everyone should have the right to their opinion. If people don't like the kind of work I'm doing or the kind of roles I'm doing, don't watch it. It's as simple as that. Like, nobody is forcing you to go and watch that content. But I just feel that we shouldn't be a society that's telling other people that make only what I want to watch. It's like they say, not your cup of tea, don't drink it. Simple, right? And as far as the other thing goes, like, I think that I choose the roles that I'm doing because I have some conviction in something in that script. It could be the story, it could be the intention of the maker, it could be the director himself, as in the case of Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, where I really wanted to work with Suraj Barjatya and Salman Khan, obviously. Or it could be the character, as in Anarkali or Nilbate or Ranjana, where I really loved the character and I wanted to play that character. So, even if in the story I feel, okay, maybe this, maybe that, but I love the character so much that I'm like, I'll give my all to the character. So because I have that conviction, I don't get so bothered by if people had a problem. And the thing with with roles like Anarkali and Biredi Wedding and even Rasbhari is that, in India we are a society that is a little uncomfortable with discussing openly topics of sexuality and sex. I mean, we have 130 crore people, that we have no problem with increasing our population and doing the activities that are needed. But we don't want to acknowledge, almost, So I know that these are uncomfortable topics, and it's a no-brainer that there will be those people who will have an issue. I call it the Uncle G Haji mentality. So that Haji mentality is there in India. Ki, dekho kya kar liya. I mean, you can't do anything about that. But I think for me, I am quite selfish in terms of the roles I choose, because I'm choosing roles for my personal growth as an actor. But I have the chance to perform, to grow as an actor, and when I do that, I can bring you, as an audience, bring something which is of some substance that you will enjoy watching as well. So that's basically my approach.
That's great. Also, do you fear that, maybe because you're so vocal about it and you're okay with all the hate that's coming in and you want to do these kinds of roles, do you think it might get stereotyped for you as well? Like, maybe you get more offers like that, and do you mind that or you don't mind that? How would it be?
I mean, I think that I always say that the thing with stereotyping is that my whole career is actually an example of doing everything that people told you don't do. My break was a film where I played a best friend. That's the worst thing apparently to do for a heroine aspirant. My next film was The Girl Who Gets Jilted by the hero, which is Ranjana. Third big release was Prem Ratan, where I played the superstar's sister, which is like an absolute no-no. Like, every other actress in the industry had rejected that role. Then I played a 15-year-old's mother in Nilbate. Then I played this really bad-mouthed, Bachchalan kind of loose-charactered, loud, vulgar woman in Anarkali. So, I mean, frankly, my Biredi Wedding, introduced a vibrator to the Indian street. So everything I've done, my attitude is that if you break all the rules, then what box are they going to put you in? Because you've already broken out of all the boxes. So I don't worry about stereotyping. And the thing is that you're absolutely right, that it is true that you tend to get offered the same thing. But I always feel that I can't control what is offered to me, but I can control what I choose to do. So I'm very careful, and you may have noticed that I do very selective. I actually do I have like one release a year maximum. The last year I didn't even have a release in 2019. So I'm very careful like that. I don't like to keep doing the same thing again and again, because then I'm not learning anything.
Yeah, but that's good. I think one movie is enough for people to, talk about you, discuss the movie and everything. So I think that's enough. Also, the debate, obviously the outsider debate has, increased a lot since Sushant's demise, and you have, put in your viewpoints about nepotism. Like, this has been an ongoing debate for really long, and obviously people have their different point of view, you have their different point of views, and that gets a lot of backlash. So what would you say about that? What would you want to add more to it?
The thing is that I really have only one thing to say about this, and because it's Box Office India, I really want to make this point. I agree with everything that people say about nepotism. It exists and it's wrong. I'm an outsider in this industry, and there has not been a bigger outsider than me. All right, I completely agree that there is cliques and it's easier for the star kids, and all that is right. But I want to say to all those people who are now today raising this insider-outsider debate and are abusing Karan Johar and abusing other star children, and none of these people, maybe except for Sonam, nobody is a personal friend of mine in that sense. I don't have any projects with Dharma or Yash Raj. I'm putting that out there as well at the moment. But I have a very simple question to the audience and Box Office India. So put the figures out along with what I'm saying. Look at the figures, the box office collection of Irfan Khan's Karwan. Look at the box office figures of Angrezi Medium. Look at the box office figures of Rajkumar Rao's Trapped. Look at the box office figures, the film that Richa Chadha did, which had the rape about Article 375. Look at Nawaz's that film with Atya Shetty, Motichur Ke Laddu, where he was in the leading, or that film about golf. Okay. Look at Anarkali of Aram, etc., etc. Look at the box office collections of all these, and please make a chart and put it up. Look at the box office collection of Dhadak, of Student of the Year, of Hero Patti. Now you tell me, who is going to watch the Star Children when they are launched? It's not us. It's the audiences. The fact is that y'all meaning the audiences, are interested in what Sridevi's daughter is going to be like, and what, whoever Jackie Shroff's son is going to seem like. So if you have so much sympathy for us outsiders, I have a very simple request. Watch our films in theatres. Even Sushant Sonchiriya. People have so much sympathy for Sushant. You should have watched Sonchiriya in the theatres. It's an excellent film. And he's done an outstanding performance. But what is the box office collection of that? So I think that the audiences and a lot of people right now who are sort of, raging at the industry, I think just look within. You want outsiders to become superstars, watch our film. That's it.
True.
All are the people who make us stars. The media and the audiences are the people who make us stars. I mean, I don't want to take names, but there is a host of star children who had humongous launches who did not work.
True. That's actually a very balanced thought, very nice opinion, and I think this is gonna be the headline of my YouTube title. Like, this should be the YouTube title. I definitely got to put that. My last question would be around this only. Sushant's death, it enraged a lot of people, as you said. Like, people loved him, and the way they reacted. Do you think that was right? Like, how the reactions came on the industry, and how has that changed the industry? How has that affected the industry?
I mean, I think that let's start by saying that what happened with Sushant was deeply unfortunate. It was very tragic, and it has hit us all very hard. I mean, not just the people who were close to Sushant and who knew him, who must obviously be devastated, and his family, which must be absolutely grief-struck, but also audiences and people like me who were in the industry but had never worked with him. I didn't know him at all. I don't think I'd ever even met him. I think I've met him once at a party where it was very loud and I could barely hear anything. I think that Sushant's demise is not just the loss of an individual talent and a really, really talented, inspirational actor, but it's also Sushant's death also kind of it pulls off the curtain on this very glamorous life of showbiz, because it shows you that you may have all the success in the world, you may be this up and coming superstar, you may have a beautiful duplex apartment in Bandra, you may have fancy cars, date pretty women, be loved by all the audiences, and you may be sitting on a 200 crore film. Chichore made, I think you guys will tell the figures correctly, but Chichore made 200 plus at the worldwide, it grossed more than 200 crores worldwide box office. And yet you can be struck by a disease like depression. and it can just sort of capture you in a way that you just are never able to break out of it. And I think that is so scary, you know. And I think that's why people who are in grief, all of us, we also don't know how to deal with it. So we are so upset and we're in such a state of shock. We want something to blame someone. And so we are finding the easiest targets and the reasons. Because at a rational level, it seems completely implausible that a boy like that would want to kill himself. You know what I mean? Who has everything going for himself.
Yeah.
Who's handsome, who's rich, who's successful, who's a hero, who's popular. And I think that is actually the whole shit show that followed Sushant's death is actually an expression of our inability to deal with our grief and our inability to deal with our lack of comprehension about what Sushant was going through. And I feel that we've lost Sushant twice. I've written about this as well. This should have been a moment about Sushant. It should have been a moment of remembering Sushant, celebrating Sushant, of his legacy. And I think instead it just got usurped by people who are serving their own personal agendas and accusing each other and just making a tamasha over someone else's death. This is actually very, very... Actually, I feel that it's very wrong. And especially when, it would be a different case where there was... it would be completely different if there had been a history of some kind of harassment, if there was a suicide note, if there was some record of, But I think that Sushant didn't leave anything behind because he didn't want to talk about it. And I think we should respect that,
Yeah.
And I also find it very interesting that people who didn't care to raise a voice when Rohit Vemula killed himself or when Payal Tadvi killed herself, that student in Bombay, where there was recorded proof of institutional harassment and abetment to suicide. I find it very interesting that these are the people who now suddenly have discovered all this.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.